Pop in, say hi. If you've never come into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And here on Sunday nights, we have a crew. We call ourselves Chatters, right? Only for the fact that as I am spewing my thing, that, right, the people who come in and hang out with me on Sunday night, they're doing their own thing, and I absolutely love that. One of those reasons that I don't take people on these trips. We're going on a trip in a few weeks, and one of the reasons I don't go along with people on these trips is because I don't want to entertain people, right? I don't want to take away from the experience I'm having by, right, that singing and dancing and that paying attention and catering to. It's absolutely amazing that when I come in here Sunday nights that I can trust that my moderators are going to show up, and they always show up, always. And they are so sweet, and they're so considerate and thoughtful towards anybody who walks in and figures that they just want to come in and say hi. And if you're inclined to do so, I'm going to ask you to come in and just say hi. When I'm talking about amazing moderators, this is my moderator, Owen, here. Hello, Owen. How did your week go? How did your week go? And this is Andrew. And how did Andrew's week go? You guys, I had a week full of ups and downs and twirlies and backflips. But you know what? We got through it. It's funny, I had this conversations with, can't remember who I was having the conversations with, where I was just talking about, how sometimes that it is in that flip flop, that way that we move, and lots of us move this way, right? It's kind of like paddling, and sometimes we paddle frantically. Sometimes we paddle because we don't know how to do anything else in that. Sometimes we paddle just out of frustration, right? But any kind of movement is going to, right? It's going to give us a little bit of different landscape. And that's it. That's exactly true. Okay, the past week, Andrew says, I've done some rearranging and reorganizing, and now he's removed over 70 books. This is round two for Andrew in his thinning out of literature. He is an avid reader and an avid collector of books, and he is moving into a little bit of minimalism. But right, like what we were just saying, if he wasn't moving into it, it wouldn't happen, right? It's like that saying too, God helps those who help themselves, right? If you put in the effort, you'll get that extra help, right? But if you don't put in the effort, how can any of us expect to get any help? Because, well, number one, nobody's even going to know that you need help because you're not putting in the work. You're not, right? You're not properly communicating your needs. And I'm just as guilty as that. 100%. I'm just looking at my cat here for a second to make sure that she's okay. I have a pan under my air conditioner. She has a tendency to drink the water that drips into that pan. And it makes me nervous because I don't want her to get sick because it's like air conditioner moldy water or something, right? But she does it anyway. So I've past week or so I've been keeping an eye on her because this is a new habit she's doing. I only need to go another couple of weeks and the air conditioner will be taken down and this one will probably be out the door it goes, and I'll be on to the next one. A deal will come across at work, and I'll pick it up when it does come across my path at work. I want a good one. This one was. quite terrible, in all truth. But it was enough that we could sleep, right? And if I was extremely hot in any other place than my bed, I could just go walk over and sit on my bed for a few minutes. Right, the air conditioner, it's constantly moving because any little bit helps. Owen, oh good. I was going to say, Owen, you didn't tell us how your week went. Oh, that's good that your week went good. How's your mom doing? Uh, Andrew says, thank you, Owen. Just a little here and there, getting my place more organized and less cluttered. And it's a rewarding experience to make even a small change. Right? Right, Aunt? You couldn't have said it a more truer thing, Andrew. People always think that change has to be huge, that it has to be impactful, but sometimes the smallest of change can make the biggest impact. And in that experience of that reward, that pride, right? There's a little bit of proudness that you're able to do it. There's a little bit of anticipation to see how far you can go with this project, or even if you will achieve. Maybe you'll just be midway between that feng shui, minimalistic kind of feel in your decor, and just being less cluttered. Even that's okay, but it's in your choices. And if you're looking to make change in your life, you guys, any kind of change will get that ball rolling. Gets it on the top of the hill, it starts rolling down the hill and picks up momentum, and pretty soon it's not a snowball, it's an igloo, right? And that is the truth. I mean, it's how I started, in what I'm doing. And I look back at what I'm doing, where I was, like even 6 years ago, compared to where I am right now. It's not even comparable anymore. And it's not like I disappeared, but it's in the creation of the best human being I possibly can that I'm creating, right? So why not create something amazing? Why don't I create the life for myself that I want? And you can look at it and say it's impossible, right, to reach some of those goals. Maybe it is. But just like Andrew says, it really feels good seeing that movement. It doesn't need to be big movement. It certainly doesn't. So, okay, I'm just going to do a little adjustment on my camera there. There we go. If you guys haven't noticed, you can see more of my house. You can see all my camping buckets. Uh, this next set of days off, the goal for me was to start packing my clothes. I took way too many clothes last year. I think I'd like to get it down to maybe 5 pairs of tights, right? I think tights, or 3 pairs of tights and 2 pairs of sweats, and maybe a half a dozen tops. That would be enough for the entire week. And then, at the end of the first week, I'll have a laundry day, because most of these provincial parks that I'm staying at, they have laundromats. Hello, Kathy. They have laundromats. So as long as I've got the loonies and toonies to run the washers and dryers, while I can do my clothes, and I will need to on the road, right? I don't want smelly, dirty, wet dog clothing, because I suspect with the rock hounding that I'm doing, and natural environment, the rain, and right, sleeping in a vehicle, that moisture and humidity will get to things. So, but it's nice to see you guys here tonight. I know we don't have a show and tell, but before I left for work today, we had a staff meeting today. It went pretty good. It went a lot better than I suspected. That it went a lot better. And I was surprised. It went very, very well. our staff meeting. We got new staff. I don't want to scare them away as they're learning and as I'm heading out on a holiday. That I want to make sure that the manager will be able to manage her store properly. That everybody will be able to pick up that slack and pick up that little bit that they're going to have such a it doesn't matter what I say, right? But I need my holidays. I deserve my holidays. I earned my holidays. I'm taking my holidays. So it'll have to be some adapt and conquer, and maybe it'll have to be pitching in a little bit more, right? But soon enough, everybody will get their couple of weeks of vacation, and yeah, what comes around goes around, and I trust that everybody's going to do an amazing job, right? It's an opportunity for people to shine if they want to, right? Because it'll be their show. They'll be able to take the recognition for a job well done, but also keep in mind, right? That comes with a lot of work. I work just as hard, if not harder, than most of the people that I work with. And right, that's the truth. But at the same time, working harder, I think, and everybody kind of runs on the things that I notice that need to get done during the course of the day. So, I give direction of let's get this done, let's get this done. Oh, she won't be happy if this is not done. And right. So I do a lot of that designation when it comes to getting that store ready because, just as much as I leave that store really nice for my manager on my last day of work, which is Sunday, she does a very good job too, and she doesn't have the team that I have on the weekend. I have that team because the weekend is the money weekend, right? So it's important that we make sure that she starts her week off good at the very least. Let's start her week off good, and maybe right she'll get a little help along the way, a little bit of consideration, and right, by the time I get back, she wouldn't have had to do too much maintenance in order to bring it to what I don't expect it to be like I leave it for her because, right, I have the team. Like I say, I have the team. I don't necessarily do all that, but I am in there when it's in time to haul in the furniture and the couches and the dressers and the stereo. I do it all, and that is the truth. But when I'm not there, somebody's going to have to pick up that slack and recognize what needs to be in, where those spaces are that you can fill it with a piece of furniture because every inch of that store is an opportunity to sell something. And my boss should not have to complain that she doesn't have the stock that she needs to even get a shot at bringing in the money that she wants to. Yesterday we didn't do as well as we usually do, but today we did much better than what we usually do for a Sunday. Just pulling in that little bit of extra, and yeah, have that little bit of consideration for the people that you work with, right? And that's the fair game in that, and we are also different, right? To tell you the truth, I don't necessarily like all of them, right? I don't dislike anybody there. But again, when we were talking earlier on my Instagram last night, sometimes being in that negative state, we don't want to hear the grumbling and the complaining and that little bit of backstabbing that goes on, who's doing this and who's not doing this. And, for me, I will just be outright vocal about it, right? And I'll just let that person know. I dance around conversations and subjects all the time, but when it's my job, and people are depending on me and getting that job done, I have no qualms, right, in giving that dictation and in that direction. I do believe that I am appreciated by that. I am a leader, and I take into consideration that I am also an empath, and I want people to like me and enjoy working with me and think I'm a right. I'm not the boss. I'm not right. I'm no part of management at all, but I know the job, and I'm grateful for that little bit of respect that comes along my way. I recognize it and I appreciate it, and it is in that reciprocation when somebody does a kindness for you, right? It's not a rule, but right, like Andrew was talking about that little bit of movement, it gives you a little bit of movement, right? It does. It gives you an opportunity without too much energy to make somebody feel a little bit better. Maybe you can get that somebody moving. Okay, we're supposed to keep this all light this week. So I got my bucket here. I put half of it I put away. Um, One of the mines that I'm going to, I have to hike up a side of a mountain for about 3/4 of a mile. People do it all the time. They take their buckets and all their gear and their backpacks and their picnics and their lunches, and they make it a day. And it's kind of like what I'm hoping to do, right? Doesn't mean necessarily it's going to work out that way, but that's my intent, right? I have a lot of rock digging stuff, crystal digging equipment. So I went through my granny bag, and because I got to walk in 3/4 of a mile straight up, um, I thought, you know what? I'm not hauling all this stuff in and be all, right? Not be able to enjoy myself digging for crystals. I'm going to take my granny wagon. That's exactly my granny wagon, being that well, you see the little old ladies when they go to the grocery stores and they have those cloth bags with the wheels, and it's got two wheels and you can drag it along. I've got a couple of those. I got one where the bag is ripped, and I had one that had one of the wheels came off in the wintertime. So I threw the frame away and I kept the bag. So I got a good set of bags. I got a good set of wheels. So what I thought I would do is, it's not a 5-gallon pail, but it's a perfect size of the granny wagon bag. I'm going to slip this right into the granny wagon, and inside is everything I need for rock hounding, including the pail. And I thought maybe tonight, you guys, while we're chit chatting, that I'd show you what I've got. And if you decided that you wanted to do this hobby for yourself, everything I have here is secondhand. Some of this stuff I also use for my bottle digging, which I'm hoping to do a little bit of bottle digging on my holiday also. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing now. I don't know if any of you guys have seen uh, rock hounding or mineral collecting or crystal collecting videos, or read up on it, or know anything about it, or even tried it yourself. But this is kind of the stuff that you need. So I put half of it away, saying I don't need it. I'm not going, right? I don't need the cat, meaning the big, right? The equipment and stuff. I just need the basics. I need a nice long claw, because if I have the opportunity to get into somebody else's hole where they dug a little cave for a little bit, I've got the extended scraper that I'll be able to reach a little bit further ahead and possibly maybe get some crystals that somebody else, right, wasn't able to reach. So the first thing I have is a garden tool. It's just a little, what do you call these things, you guys, that scrape into a hoe? Is that what you call this one? No, it's not a hoe. A hoe is the flat one. But anyway, I got this one here. I got this one here for my bottle digging. The bucket's all ready to go, so I won't have to do anything with it now. I want to get as close to being done, getting ready for this trip, knowing exactly what I'm taking, having most of it. I got so much clothes that I can wear different outfits rather than my favorites. I suspect that this top is going to be one of my favorites. Number one, you guys know I love pink. Number two, I've been waiting for a plaid shirt to come in that would fit me. I'm so big up top that I can't even get into a men's plaid shirt without it, right? Because they're so long, you tuck them into your pants that these shirts like go below your knees. I can't wear those shirts. And then finally, look at a pink one came in, and I wore it today for the first time, and I really, really like it. So this top is going to come on my trip along with another pink top that I bought. But I want to get my packing ready so that I have all the clothes that I want to take. I usually use a quilt bag, a plastic. When you go to buy a quilt, they come in a bag. I use that for packing my clothes. This year, I grabbed something a little bit different. I think you guys did get to see it. Oh, I put it away. I think. Oh no, it's right here. Some of this stuff you will have seen already because of show and tell, and you guys know I've been picking up things along the way. But I picked this one up, and this one, remember that box that I got, that big industrial bag? I got this thinking this would be much better and much more durable. Look at the heavy canvas on the top and the great binding and the grommets on the end. Like, I'll be able to hang this up, and look how big it goes, how far it will stick out. Like, all my clothes will go in there except for my socks and underwear, right? Because I have a little Rubbermaid container, a little kitchen plastic container that I put all my socks and underwear in. So yeah, so this amazing bag will hold all my clothes, and I'll start packing my clothes tomorrow. Okay, let's get in here. Second thing I got, and just in case you guys want to do some research, right? If you guys are interested and you kind of want to see where I'm going, you could just Google the YouTube videos. There are two characters I have been following their content. They do rock hounding and crystal collecting in Ontario. One, his name is Me Miner, and the other gentleman's name is Rockhound Ontario, and so I've been watching their videos to kind of look at the highways and the turns and stuff to get to these locations. But two locations that I'm looking to go to, and you'll be able by just googling Crystals Ontario Tory Mine, Tory Hill. Tory Hill, Ontario, and his videos will come up right away. And you'll see the location and what exactly I'll be doing there. Another mine I'm going to is the Smart Mine, and that's actually an old abandoned mine. Very interesting story there, and I will tell you the story either on the road to that mine or right at some point. It was super, super interesting, and so we'll be doing that mine too. But you guys, my knee pads. I usually buy those budget, when you go to the bargain store and they're only a couple dollars. I usually buy those ones, like the ones for the gardens, the little foam ones. But look at how industrial these are. I paid $2.50 less than those really crappy knee pads I buy at the bargain store. And these ones are pretty much brand new. They don't even look like they've had dirt or anybody has been on their knees in them for sure. So I got a good pair of knee pads, especially, as we mature. I want to take good care of myself physically. I do the best that I can, but taking care of my legs is super important. The next thing I have in my rock hounding kit is a pair of knitting needles. There's two of them here just in case I meet a friend, right? What this does for you, and not even just a friend, because I can tape them both together and then I can use them to find my bottles at the same time, to find those privies, because then you'll hit the glass and you'll find that, oh, okay, there's some bottles here. We found a little dump or a privy or something, right? And I'll learn how to find the privies. I'm so excited to see if anything that I've learned will be able to be included, right? Included, welcomed into my holiday. But this is also really good for digging into the dirt to see if you can find pockets in between the rocks. Because sometimes you don't mind spending a half an hour yanking out a big boulder, right? Especially if you're me and you have in your mind in an instant, it's under the rock, Cindy. And then I have no choice. So, I'm going like this and that speculation that it won't be much bigger than this if I'm by myself. But these will help me find those hollowed out pockets because that's where the crystals are going to be hiding. So when you go bottle digging and you go rock hounding, right? A pair of knitting needles, it's really quite excellent to have, right? Okay, something heavy here. Hammer. Of course, you need a hammer. You got to split some rocks. You might have to dig out a big chunk of crystal rock or quartz or something. I have a little hammer also, but back. I put that back in another bag just because I don't need it. If I've got this hammer, I don't need a little hammer, right? I'll just tap 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 rather than bang bang bang. If I just need a little hammer. Okay, I'm going to need. No, I'm not sawing legs off. I'm using this for cutting the tree branches because the best place to dig for crystals are under the roots of trees. So if you find a great big tree, nobody is dug under it, right? Then you have that opportunity to dig under it and find some amazing crystals. But sometimes that root system, right? You have to cover. Now you say cutting the roots, and isn't that kind of mean and unkind and inconsiderate of Mother Nature? Mother Nature does not mind being moved around. Right? It truly doesn't. It's just a different form. You're not hurting the planet by digging up the dirt or moving the rocks or hacking away at anything like that. It's just going to form into a different form of Mother Nature, right? Yeah. Just in case anybody was wondering on that. Um, Gloves are something. I'm glad I looked in here because I'm missing one glove. Um, I have a pair of these rubber gloves, so there'll be days when it's raining and I'm not going to want to get mud in my fingernails and stuff. So there'll be days I have three pairs of gloves. I have my work gloves, my garden gloves, my leather garden gloves, and then I have these rubber palmed gloves also. So I take these on on my trip. I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm going to leave that here so that I know to look for that glove because I want to take that glove with me. Another thing that I got for my rock hounding trip, this is for scrubbing away the dirt. Like, if I'm going to take specimens, I suspect that on this entire trip, you guys, that I don't need more than this bucket full of crystal, right? And it's all the locations. And I suspect and I hope that the Herkimer diamond dig is going to cough up the most beautiful of crystals. And if you don't know what a Herkimer diamond is, it kind of looks like this one. This is what I have the potential of, of digging up, right? Look how spectacular that crystal is. I just love it. I haven't had it on my desk for a while. I think I'm gonna leave it on my desk for a while. I have a desk stone, and this stone is my palm scratcher, because when I have my itchy palms, I do this. But my intent is to hand varnish this. It's a dragon stone. See the dragon on it? Isn't it amazing? I love this stone, and it's done so much for me. Like, it really truly does. Maybe it's just in my mind, but yeah, this stone has it's made me feel good when I didn't feel so good sometimes, and that's the truth. But I suspect that it's going to take my entire life to get this polished, and then whoever that lucky person is, because I'll have a lot of energy in it by the time I'm gone, that the person I pass this piece of amethyst to will be able to possibly finish that job. And if you can't see, it is a solid piece of amethyst. And if you don't believe me, because this is something else I'm taking on my trip, see that? It shines right through the whole stone, no matter where you are. Like, it's just a magnificent piece. I was so lucky to have come across this stone, and yeah, it's going to be a great present for somebody one day, right? And I hope that this will always be something special, right? That maybe even that somebody will know its founding story, right? Because there definitely was a founding story with this stone. Okay, the flashlight. When I go into the digs, remember what I said with the knitting needles and the scratchers, that sometimes you can't get in far enough because your tools are not long enough, and somebody has gotten in with their arm as far as you can. And if you can extend it a little bit, you'll be able to get some more crystals. But if you're going that back, you're going to get in a really dark space, and you don't want to get way back there without realizing that there actually is crystals. So when I shine my flashlight into the little cave system, they will reflect. I will also have my fluorescent flashlight that I'll have to remember to get off my sister, because I'll be doing some rock hounding on beach of Lake Superior, and I'll be looking for those fluorescent ones late at night. So that will be something I'll be able to do as a little experience, even if I get to the park really late at night, right? Okay. Next thing I got. This is a great little digging tool. I decided to take this one only because it's such heavy duty steel that I'll be able to get it into the cracks of the rocks and go right and maybe pull them out. I'll also be able to dig in and get big chunks of dirt out of there, right? So I got that too. This one is very, very light. It's like the digger because it also has a digger on the end, but it also has, right, a spade on the other end. And because it's so lightweight, right? So I want to make sure that I'm enjoying my trip. That yes, it's going to be a physical trip, but at the same time, I don't want to over exhaust myself by hacking through with the big boys. And I do have some big boys, but I've already put it away because I decided I wasn't going to take it on my trip. And when I say big boys, so I go right and way, oh, like you're really truly mining, right? Uh, oh, I decided to take the little the little hammer. Let me think here. No, I'm not taking the little hammer. I don't need it. I don't think so. I'll let you guys know when I get back whether I made a bad judgment call there, but right, I decided that I was not going to take it and I found it in my pail. So this one will go into the bag with the rest of the stuff that I'm not taking with me. Right? When you find crystals, they are covered in mud. It's hard to recognize if they even have crystal in them when you chunk out the rocks and stuff. So you have to have a squirty, right? So you can see the sparkly, or you can see the form of the crystals. I have the potential for tourmaline, smoky quartz, for sure amethyst, um, beryl, silver, and well, gold would be pretty amazing. But I don't suspect unless I go to that crossing where the police used to try and catch the mine workers when they would try to steal the gold, the big chunks of gold, and they try and drive it down into Toronto on the weekends and try and sell it, right? But every once in a while they get caught, and I could just see in my mind's eye some dad screaming at their kids or their wife, throw it out the window, throw it out the window. We can't get caught with this. I'm going to lose my job, right? And they would have lost their job. I'm sure lots of people lost their jobs in getting caught, right, scooting out the gold in the buildings. So I thought maybe I might do some of those crossings where the cops hid out. I watched some videos and watched some documentaries and right. Even if they didn't get caught and they went back to try and find those stones, I think in such a panic, nobody even looked to see even how far it went out the grass. But with a metal detector, if it's there, there's that possibility that I might be able to find it. My trip, I leave on the morning. Well, it's not the morning. I pick up the vehicle on the 16th, Kathy. Um, um, I suspect, right? I have to load the vehicle. I'm not sure if I'm just going to throw everything in and just get on the road because I am running on fumes. I'm feeling better and refreshed now that it's my day off. But I recognize that I'm pooping out and I need to have this gift for myself, right? So September 16th, you guys, it's what, not even 3 weeks away, or maybe exactly 3 weeks away that we're on this holiday, and I'll be filming it. The next couple of things that I need to do, like I said, I'm going to be working on the clothes when I'm in the content. Also, I also want to maybe possibly pick some subjects, but maybe not. Maybe I'll just be inspired in the moment and just pull out the camera and start yapping away. Who knows, right? This holiday is for me, but it's also a reward, right? It's a reward uh, for well sticking to the lessons. Number one, because now I'm recognizing how important the lessons are. I'm recognizing and I'm putting the pieces together why something like this was even an option for me, right? I couldn't understand it, right? Like, what? Are you kidding me? And so, I am making that movement. But at this time, right now, when I am pooping out, when I'm running on fumes, it's not the time to make those rash decisions, though I am prepared and have been prepared to make them. And that's a truth too. And I admit, that sometimes, and it's not in giving up, but sometimes it's in that creation of your own change, right? Right? Like Andrew getting rid of more books and how he feels good about that when you don't have that for sure, do this. Sometimes, right, it's just following those desires, those things that you want, those things that might possibly show others that what you can do is possible. What I'm doing in 3 weeks, I did that in a 4 day a week part time job, right? I gave twice as much of that part time job in hours into the lessons. The job itself put the roof over my head, but it also gave me that opportunity to apply myself. And because, when you have worries about bills and how you're going to do and stuff, you don't even want to take the next lesson because you're not even prepared for the lesson that you have right now, right? And we beat ourselves up about that all the time. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm truly excited about this trip, you guys. It is going to be fun. I hope I do a good job in the videos for you guys, that you guys enjoy the videos. I think I'll stop in Thunder Bay and make some posts for my Instagram. At the very least, get some of those landscapes up. Spend a little time on Instagram. Instagram has been so good to me over the years. I really wish that Google owned Instagram, right? Instagram is a good fit for me. It works well for me. But I am a Google girl through and through, 100%. So in the moment Instagram gets 1 day a week, then it only gets 1 day a week. And I know I could probably do more in that. But right, running on fumes, I think I'll wait for the completion of this trip because I know it will it will open things up for me. I will have a clear idea of what's next. And that's a truth. What's next in this moment? I have no ideas. I have inklings, I have desires, I have goals that I move in baby steps, little chunks at a time, right? And things do reveal themselves. And whether or not those things could have revealed themselves a couple of years ago, maybe, maybe. But I'm being thorough in what I'm doing, right? I'm going to be able to do a lot of good, I do believe, right? I didn't understand how important, right? I thought, oh, fun games, kumbaya. Right? No, not the case. Still grateful for whatever it is, but yeah, we're just gonna ride these waves. We're just gonna do the baby steps, right, until these things reveal themselves. And as they reveal themselves, I have no qualms about pouncing in that action. But I have to keep that action going in the meantime, right? It makes boring, right? I mean, it makes being bored fun, and also at the same time, it allows you in your practice to make those fumbles, those mistakes, those missteps, putting your foot in your mouth, right? It takes those stumble blocks to be able to perfect something that could be, well, instrumental in how we actually do things. It's like Kurt Browning. You know, Kurt Browning was the first male figure skater. In 2022, the female figure skaters were started to do this, um, but it was never known. But Kurt Brown was the first person to do the quad in figure skating. Now it's pretty much if you do a routine, the quad is expected. But when Kurt Browning did it, everybody thought it was absolutely impossible, that it couldn't be done. And he proved that it could be done. He became the evidence that it could be done. Now everybody does the quads. In 2022, women, what year was that? 1989, I do believe, right? For Browning, 1989 or 87. And yeah, he did the quad. That was pretty cool. It was a big thing in the news and everything when he did it, right? Oh, I think it was during the Olympics that he did it. Was it the Olympics? I won't say that because I'd be putting my foot in my mouth. I don't know for sure. I was just taking a wild guess on that. Now it's part of PrairieDodgers. You have to do it, right? If you don't do a quad, you're not going to get the points that you want, and you're not going to get the standing that you might possibly deserve because of one lack of trying in doing something you've never tried before that you possibly thought was impossible. Women are doing the quads now too, as of 2022. That it takes a lot of physical strength, and the men are the ones that have that physical strength. But the women weren't too far behind, and they found their own mobilities in getting that job done. Okay, you guys, these are my chisels for rock hounding. This is the last thing in my bucket. So I have a cold chisel here. It's just a little one. You just put it in between the cracks of the rocks, or you just kind of put it on a corner of a rock and you start whacking it. You could split rocks, split geodes. Geodes is those rocks that you split open and crystals are all in the inside. Um, this is a wood filer kind of chisel. But this works perfectly fine. It is a hard plastic and it has been whacked many, many, many times. So not as many times as this one though. But this is my big one. This is my big screwdriver. You can see all the paint because I use it for opening cans and stirring the paint around and everything, right? Being lazy instead of using a stir stick, eh? But yeah, you guys, these are all my tools that I'll be using specifically for rock hounding and bottle picking. And this morning, like I said, I went through all my gear to minimize, like Andrew says, to minimize what I actually have to take with me, right? That I have to make sure that I don't overpack, because you guys know I have a tendency to overpack. Even on the groceries, I don't think I'm going to spend more than maybe $60. I won't spend much. I'm going to get all the groceries, get a few treats and stuff for the drive and put it in the front seat bucket. Um, and that's pretty much it. If I come into a town, maybe I'll go into a gas station and grab something. Maybe I'll go into a Tim Hortons and grab a coffee. Right, but I can't be wasteful. And I remember last year how much food I actually threw away. Very expensive stuff, right? That possibly one person, if they kind of rationed, they might have been able to go a couple of weeks in the food that I threw away. I took a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have taken. I have no idea how many packages of wieners and hamburgers that went bad or had the potential of going bad. I wasn't going to take the chance and eat them and get food poisoning, right? So I had no choice but to throw those out. Here in Winnipeg, I don't know how hot it is, you guys. Let me know in the comments, how hot is it where you guys are? Because here I think we made it up to 32 degrees with a ton of humidity. 32 Celsius, I'm not quite sure what that is in Fahrenheit. Hey Google, what is 32 Celsius in Fahrenheit?
32 degrees Celsius is equivalent to 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
So it's not 100. Some of you guys might have made it to 100 degrees where you guys live. But yeah, we got to 32 Celsius, which is 89 Fahrenheit, and but the humidity was terrible. We had a rainstorm today, but it was a strange rainstorm because it was like mist that was coming down. You still had to use an umbrella because you get wet, but it was just like misty stuff. Like somebody had taken this and just squirted it down on me. That's how it rained. It was very interesting how it rained. It was warm, eh, Kathy? How hot did it get there? How hot did it get in? Well, that's your place to say from where you're from. But I think most people here know where you're from, Nancy. But yeah, how hot did it get? My sister and my brother in law went to the beach today. Yes, Manitoba, being in the center of Canada, we do have beaches. We have one of the biggest lakes in Canada. It's even ranks up there in the world, one of the biggest lakes in the world. And we have a lot of big lakes in Canada. Um, it's part of the Great Lakes system, I'm assuming. I never inquired on that. Hey Google, is Lake Winnipeg part of the Great Lakes?
According to homework.study.com, Lake Winnipeg is not one of the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes are east of Lake Winnipeg in Manitoba, creating much of the Canadian border between Ontario and the United States.
Okay, so it's not part of the Great Lakes, but it's just as big as the Great Lakes. I only said that it was part of the Great Lakes because they are so close together when you look at it on a world map. Um, but what was I going to say about the Great Lakes? I lost track. 28 Celsius. Oh my goodness. Right? So we are still in the midst of summer. We had a few really cool days, I think, last week or the week before. They were really cool. And every single one of my customers came into the store and started buying winter gear. They started looking for winter boots and winter coats and being all right, Debbie Downers and oh, winter's over, it barely just begun. And here we are right back in those high numbers again. Summer is not even close to being done. I think possibly we are going to probably, I think in mid-September, that we're still going to have those really, really nice days. Right? I hope this year, though, that the mushrooms don't open until I go on holidays. Usually I get there just on time when the mushrooms are really coming into their full ripening. And I went on my holidays last year, and they pretty much finished the process. The smell was amazing because, of course, they rot and they fill up the forest floor with that beautiful aroma of rotting mushrooms. Oh my goodness! Where are you guys? So ready, so ready to go. It's going to be amazing. I'm just going to keep saying that, right? Understanding these little difficulties along the way. Uh, these little difficulties. That was just my sister Alice. No, no, I didn't, Alice. She's probably watching my live, so I'm just asking. I'm just answering her question. No, no, I didn't. Um, uh, but I have to quickly send this off to her. I don't mean to do this in the middle of my live. It's my brother-in-law singing. He did a show at Winnipeg Beach, which I was just about to tell you about. But it looks so hot at 32 degrees. Oh my goodness. And none of them were wearing shorts. They were just all like in regular clothes, right? Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to um, uh, go on this trip anyway. Sorry, um, I'm just sending her this last one and just tell her she can just catch me on my live. She'll get it. Just she'll get it in a moment. Um, there we go. I'm not going to answer anything more. I'm actually even going to turn the volume off so we don't get disturbed. We don't get disturbed in that, right? Oh, I had to look at his outfit. Oh, good outfit. Oh, he wore the concert t-shirt. Oh, it looks great. What a great outfit. Well, he looks a lot more comfortable than the last band. The last band did. Oh my goodness. They were all in heavy gear. He's in just in loose fitting clothing, but they still are sweats and a t-shirt. But yeah, they look a lot more comfortable than the band that I saw hit the stage before they did. Yeah, my brother-in-law, he likes that rock and roll. Um, he likes that rock and roll music, right? And him and my sister, they get along absolutely amazing. I can see the light just went behind the clouds, so we'll turn the lights on. We'll come back. Oh, I'm feeling it, you guys. These weekends, I tell you, I'm feeling it now. I'm always happy when it's time for my days off. I truly am. Yeah. It's hard though. I feel like I am going all the time. And yet, when I do take time off for myself, I tell you, the way I beat myself up for just stalling out for even 30 seconds, it's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy. Okay, you guys, tell me something about you. That's kind of yeah, that 28 degrees. How about you, Andrew? How's the temperature in Bloomington, Indiana? Yeah. How's the weather going in Indiana? I'm hoping, I was actually planning on going through Indiana because I wanted to do a true circle tour and like go through Canada to do my rock hounding, right? Come into the States, go do my Herkimer diamond dig, and then I thought I was going to come up on the other side of Lake Superior, right? Lake Michigan, and just kind of take that route home and take the States home. But in the last minute, I changed it all up, and I'm glad I did. It was almost like a miracle, the way the way that it happened, right? Right, to be able to possibly dig the same area for 2 days in a row rather than just in the drive through the town to take a stop for an hour or two. That I'll actually be able to spend a whole day digging for crystals. Yeah. Jeep Wagoneer, you guys. Google Jeep Wagoneer and then images, and you guys will see the vehicle that I'm taking on this trip this year. It's huge. It's so big. When I was looking at measurements, it was 105, like 8 feet, and like 6 feet in width. Was that what it was? It was huge. It was the biggest. It was the biggest of all the what do you call that? Large SUVs. I don't know what they call them. Premium SUVs. Premium SUVs, possibly, right? But it is big, and it's funny, you guys, because remember last year when I took the Jeep, and I was so happy with the Jeep. I loved driving it. It was a cool truck to drive. But I remember saying when I came back from my holidays, that I was not happy with the amount of foot space that I had. If I had had a partner who was over 6 feet, it would have been a very uncomfortable setup in the back of that Jeep because I'm smaller and height wise that I was able to be decently comfortable, but still having to kind of bend my legs. I'm pretty straight when even in these live shows when I'm with you guys and stuff. You don't see me not usually sitting straight. It's posture is something that I've always had good posture, and I think having that good posture has allowed me to be kind of ache and pain free in my life, right? Because a lot of people do suffer that back pain and those aches and pains, and I think because I take care of myself that way that right, and I don't do high impact exercises. I always just do the low impact exercise, but of course I have to deal with the guilt and shame that somebody saying, oh Cindy, you're going too slow, move your butt, get some action done, lose a pound, right? I do get quite a bit, right? People are always shocked when they recognize how active I actually am physically, right? And I know that they would like to have that energy for themselves, but I earned that, right? I earned that, and I recognized the little magic insights that would help me in that. But I've always been that way. My dad kept me on the vitamins when I was young. He was doing vitamins. I did everything with my dad, if at all possible, right? So I got hooked on vitamins and minerals as a small child, carried on into my adult. When I had that gastric bypass, I got malabsorption where you don't um, absorb vitamins very well, so you have to like double dose on your vitamins. I even stayed with it even through all of that, right? I think I can appreciate myself because I don't suffer those aches and pains. I'm 62 years old. There should be aches and pains other than the odd Charlie horse that I get because I don't drink enough water. And I'm the guilty one. I'm the guilty one for that. Why? I drink too much coffee, number one. Then I forgot to put a sweetener in. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm just happy it's my days off and I can make a little bit more preparation. Get that done. Oh, Andrew, that is super hot. 35 degrees. I couldn't do it. Like even now doing this, it feels like I'm not got a big sweat on, but I do feel that clamminess only because there is such humidity in the air. I don't know if we're expecting storms tonight, but we are expecting storms. I'm just not quite sure. Heat warning. Oh yeah, we're in a heat warning, you guys. Yeah, so no rain till Thursday. Oh, and it's going to cool off a lot during the course of the night. By morning, yeah, so it looks like tomorrow it's going to be fairly cool, very comfortable all day long. It's not going to get higher than 22 degrees tomorrow. So that's like a 10 degree difference. That's the way I like it. I'm not comfortable in the heat. I am much more comfortable in the cold. And it's funny, I even appreciate the walks in the winter. I think even more than in the summer, and you would think it would be the summer because the grasses and the gardens and the patio furniture and the people that are hanging out in their yards and people having barbecues and people people mowing their grass and all that busy. But, to have a nice walk where there's no wind and it's 40 below zero and the snow's falling and the lights are reflecting off the snowflakes and everything, and yours is the only footprints in the snow, right? You can see me already looking forward to that buckle down. I like winter. I've always liked winter here in Winnipeg. Sometimes, when March or April starts showing up, I do get antsy for the spring. It's only because of the smell. It's rotten season, right? That's right. So it is in uh, the seasons changing that I come to appreciate what seasons I actually like the most. And I do love fall. I love fall. My trip will always my own the big trip by myself, that will always be in September, right? Just to go off for a couple of weeks all by myself, like all by myself. But I understand that people do come across my path, right? And I play with that and I look forward to those experiences and I throw myself into it. And when I throw myself into it, I can't help but be pleased in the reciprocation. Is that what you call it? When somebody's actually feeling it themselves and then contributing that same kind of energy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the trip. Okay, enough of my trip for tonight. What else can we yap about for 15 minutes, you guys? I'm not looking at the clock, but I can clearly see it's right here. And I just glanced down. I said, Cindy, you never stall out. You can fill up an hour and a half like nobody can. Like nobody can. Just to yibber yabber. Not even to have a base of what we were going to discuss. But right, I did have my rock hounding pail. What did you guys think of looking at that? Was that boring or was that something that you might have found interesting? I hope you found that interesting because I want you guys to live vicariously through this experience that I'm going to be having in a few weeks, right? I want you because you guys contributed, right, to this experience that I'm having. Can't take you with me. I don't even want to take you with me. This is my trip, but I want you to have that experience and I'm putting together a ton of content and I want you to enjoy it as if it was your experience, right? So, yeah, if you want to let me know if you're going to find it interesting in me and my crystal dates. We're also still doing Blue Diamond Mine or Blue Willow Mine, right? Um, uh, it is something that is on this trip every single year, and I'm on my way home. I made sure that I arranged a couple of days so that I was in the neighborhood so that we could get that done too, right? I took an extra day rental because I'm coming home the day before the car will be due back, and the car will be due back at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So I decided to rent it one more day, so it's not due back until 9 o'clock the next day. So I can go off when I get home and do some grocery shopping. I could take the car to or the SUV. I could take it to the car wash and vacuum it out if it needs to be vacuumed. I'm pretty clean when it comes to traveling in vehicles, especially when they're not mine. I'm going to try and get some extra insurance on the vehicle so if something happens, I don't have to pay. I don't have to pay the deductible. The deductible is not too high, but right, it's always better if you can just relax in the experience without looking at the possible consequences or the potential consequences and then maybe right make yourself a little bit paranoid that you might hit something or have some kind of boo-boo with a rental, right? I think the what is it, the deductible is usually $500, and you wouldn't get that $500 back if I got into an accident. They would just apply it all to their insurance because they pay that $500 for their vehicle insurance, right? So they'll just charge the person driving the vehicle in order to recoup that money. I'm going to have another sip of my coffee without the sweetener. I've had this mug for a long time. It's a perfect size, a cup of coffee for me. And I actually love that it comes from the U.S. Space Agency, right? So I don't know. I thrifted it. Somebody donated it to, but I thought it was neat, and I'm glad I grabbed it. I use it every day. I think it's probably one of my favorite mugs. It's not a super pretty mug, but it is a comfortable mug in my hand, very lightweight, and yeah, it's a good size, a cup of coffee. I'm going to have to get in some more water, like lots of water. I've been trying to go to bed earlier, and I'm finding I'm going to bed later because I'm so involved in my planning and right checklisting to make sure that I've got everything that I need, right? And if I don't have it yet, then I'm on it and getting it done. In the last couple of days, I just wanted to be waiting, right? Waiting to be done with my time at work for 2 weeks at the very least, and then by the time I get back, guaranteed this time on my own, I will have a better idea of what I want to do next year, how I want to move next year, feeling a little bit more comfortable that what I know today is a little bit more than what I knew yesterday, right? And that's all I can be, right, content with. It's just in those baby steps, making those small movements, and right, God helps those who help themselves. And somehow, right, that someone or something comes up behind you and contributes twice as much as what you contribute, just out of appreciation for the effort that you put into it, right? Our systems need to know that we're moving. So, right, it's a good idea that Andrew is, right, clearing out some of those books, clearing out some of his books, and giving him that gift of recognizing how good it feels to lighten the load. That ain't going to happen anytime soon in my space. It's getting tinier and tinier, tinier, and I am going to be moving soon, 100%. But I'm waiting for that opportunity, that hunch, that conversation, that that picture of my dream home, right? You never know what comes across our paths, right? But you have to be on the path in order for something to come across your path, right? You're sitting in a chair at the kitchen table, right? It's not going to give you much opportunity to make any serious movement in that. Okay, 28 Celsius. Whew. It's a hot one, you guys. Summer's not over yet. Andrew says, over here we had a, a, a lull of cooler. We had a full of cooler, drier weather. Now getting back up into the 90s. Heat index will surely be around 100 Fahrenheit. I'll check what this is in Celsius. Temperature here will be 35 Celsius. That's pretty hot. That's pretty hot, Andrew, right? So you can understand that I kind of backed out and I decided to do the Ontario trip again, right? I just can't do Arizona and Arkansas in September. It is unbearably hot. I wouldn't have even been able to sleep 5 minutes in that heat. not a chance. It would have ruined my entire trip 100%. So I was going to say, right, I'm looking forward to doing my trip to Arkansas and to um, Arizona, but already, right, I have been playing with ideas. I have been making kind of loose plans in what my next move is going to be. And if I want to do some of these things, right, and again, that guilt and shame of taking the trip to start with, it might mean I might have to truly buckle down, that I might truly have to grind myself into the ground in order to achieve the next thing that I want to achieve. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because in my trip, things always change. This is just ideas working around, nothing planned out, nothing finalized. But I am leaving myself open because I'll be spending 14 days pretty much for the most part by myself, right? Pretty much by myself. Okay, you guys, let's say our final goodbyes for now. Right? We could call this a short one, 1 hour and 15 minutes or something, right? But I'm feeling that need for some sugar twin for my coffee, right? Sweetener for my coffee, um, and something to eat, right? And then I'm going to take in a lesson. I'm going to watch my live show, and I'm going to blast that fan. You can see by my hair that it's kind of blowing on me a little bit, but I need to position it so I can cool right off. This is the last night. Things will cool right down, and my days off are going to be amazing. I'll be back tomorrow, you guys. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be here. Uh, I suspect, well, sometime in the early evening. It all depends if my sister wants to go out tomorrow. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. Um, but we'll just play it from here. She had a busy day today in the heat, and yeah, she went and supported her boyfriend when he was playing in the band. So that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, you guys, I am back. I am done with my weekend. I am gonna go make a cup of coffee, a fresh one, make some dinner, get in my pajamas, wash my face, and relax for an hour or two before I crawl off to bed. Does that sound good? I hope everybody has a great week. If you want to come and hang out with me, when you see me pop live with What's My Good Cheer, Andrew was in, said hi to me yesterday. Melvin comes in all the time and he hangs out with me in What's My Good Cheer. Owen, Kathy, everybody here has popped in to see me on my other live show. And if you want to come in on my live show this week sometime, right? Happy to have you. Happy to have you guys come and hang out with me. I know when Andrew pops in, it's always in those days that I've got something heavy that I've gotta get off my chest. And he just comes in there and he just kind of supports me. I always feel more comfortable when I had Andrew there with me. But I am not being a codependent on Andrew. I have to learn to stand on my own 2 feet. And I think I'm doing a pretty good darn job. Might not be 100% there yet, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job. You guys, that's it for tonight. See you next Sunday. Next Sunday. Well, no, we got a couple of more lives, a couple more Sunday lives before I go on my trip. So we'll see each other next Sunday if I don't see you during the week. And if I do see you during the week, thank you so much. Everybody, have a great night and